if you ask most Asian companies, at least the folks that I've talked to, they think they're much further behind than my perception of them being behind. In the United States, we've been trying to involve the user, and so maybe we've been trying more than companies around the globe. But I don't think we've been that effective in getting the customer involved. This technology is the first technology. So when I sat on the Delta side, every vendor is out there, oh, if you do this, everything will be better. Do this, it's really easy, right? You'll know everything you want to know about your customer. And the fact of the matter is we've all been burnt by those decisions, myself included, where you bought something that you thought was really easy, was going to give you all the answers, and that just wasn't the case. And now that I'm on the other side, I sound like one of those guys. But this technology, when I found it at Delta, it actually blew me away with how easy it was. And again, depending upon how complicated your site is, it does vary. But rather quickly, you can implement it, put it out, and effectively get your customers involved. And so what we've been talking to companies here in Asia about is, hey, this is an opportunity for you to lead that charge into listening. This is not about talking this is really about listening. And this technology gives you an opportunity to skip many of the learnings that the folks in the States had to go through that were ineffective, come right to the head of the class. The market is in its infancy, not only in Asia, but also in the US as well. So there's a dose of healthy skepticism out there, really on two fronts. I had this same healthy skepticism. One, is it really as simple to implement as they say it is? And I would say, again, I don't want to mislead anybody. If you have a application generated, fully dynamic, all built in Ajax page, that implementation might take 6 weeks. But on your basic static landing page with no flash, that's a product page, be done in 45 minutes. But so there's still skepticism around that. The other skepticism is really around the results. And I actually remember when I met the guys at Optimost, I told them, I'm like, you know what, to be honest, I don't think changing the button color really matters. I don't think changing these pieces of the puzzle really has an impact. But my boss, he's a believer in this stuff. And so ultimately, because your data is so robust, I can bring this in, I can run a test, I can find out that it doesn't matter, and I win, and I can get my boss off my back. Or I can find out that it does matter, improve my user experience, and we both win. And so I absolutely understand that skepticism, and there are just some things that will blow your mind that you're just really surprised that cause the customer to change their behavior, whether it's as subtle as changing a button from submit to click to next, to as bold as taking your navigation from the top to the left. This technology allows you to get out of the world of general best practices and general usability and find out how your customers want to interact with your site. First thing is how much effort that you want to expend. So most of the competitors in the space, all the way from kind of Google Optimizer, which is free, are really based on the self-service concept. You go in, we'll throw you a code, you do your own analysis, you do your own testing, you run it all. Our solution, and services in general, you want to evaluate how much do I really have to invest. Our model is that, hey, you don't have technology folks sitting around twiddling their thumbs. You don't have analysts sitting around waiting for stuff to do. We do 95+% of the work. And so you have to make that decision. How much do you want to have initially? How much do you want to have someone, an expert, kind of guide you through the process? And we found that with most companies in their infancy, that service piece is of significant value. Second, you actually want to understand the technology and the statistics behind it. There are multiple different ways to run experiments and get knowledge out. Some of our competitors do a very good job of being efficient with the traffic and learning quite a bit. The biggest thing that I've seen as a differentiator in the space that you'll want to think about is that most of the other technologies study independent elements, and they don't understand the interactions between those elements. And so for those of us who believe in the user experience mindset, a page is not just a collection of pieces, it's how they interact with the whole page. And it's not the whole page, it's how they interact with the website. Our technology is the only technology that measures the interactions on the page and can run multiple pages at the same time. So if your funnel is a 5-step process, we can help people run through that experience and find out, is there a relationship between what they saw on step 1 and what they see at step 4, and does that help reinforce something that ultimately helps them convert? The last piece of the puzzle is cost. Right? I mean, that's always relevant. How much are you really going to be able to generate? Most of the tools for the larger companies are rather inexpensive. You want to have great insight into what the goal of your website is and how much value is it worth. If you're a retailer, this is really easy. I sell more products, I generate more revenue. If you're a media company, do you want people to sign up for a subscription per service, or do you want people to download videos? Well, what is the value of that? And so if you're going to go invest in user experience, having the ability to quantify and track the value of what your primary KPI is very important, and ensuring that whatever technology you choose can track whether it's downloads, whether it's purchases, whether it's offline call centers. If you're a lead gen company because you can't produce whatever your product is on the web and you set up a meeting with somebody, can they bring in whether that meeting actually converted and bring that data into the analytics? Can they do all of your different types of properties? Can they do email? Can they do off-site third-party banner ads? Think of those things as you look holistically at your web experience, because it starts from the very first time someone thinks about entering your site all the way through that KPI and then the subsequent service afterwards. So think of the value proposition that you have and ask the questions from a holistic standpoint. Can this service provider deliver to me across my strategic plan? You're not going to start doing everything, but if we do our job right and we infuse into your organization the opportunity and we demonstrate the value, you're going to see the power of really changing the way you run your business.